Today, I want to talk about solving what I think is one of the most difficult problems we have historically had in terms of our go to market. And that was, what do we do to find new workflows and decisions? And then when we do, how do we effectively co-sell with our partners to be able to successfully close those deals, honestly faster and be able to deliver greater value to our clients? And so, based upon the AI tools that are available to us today, I think that there's a different approach that we might take in terms of how we engage with our partners, and wanted to see, in real time, in real life, how that might would go. And Virtusa has been one of our most valued partners literally since 2001. What we did was decide on a couple of organizations that we knew that we wanted to co-sell into. And then what we did was to leverage the AI tools that are currently available in sales automation to identify the handful of workflows where we thought we had a great joint value proposition for our prospective buyers. And then what we did was we presented those ideas to Virtusa to be able to try to get their reaction.
For years, we've been hosting calls with Pega for our joint prospects, and the goal was to manage delivery and to grow the accounts. But the calls were really devolving into more about delivery than about growth. The other dynamic here was that, based on what we know about the client's pain, real growth objectives, we needed to do something more. And the idea of the workshop was born.
Hey, Chad, why don't you share a little bit about how you prepared for the meeting with Virtusa and what you shared with Virtusa so that they could prepare?
Yeah, Leon, thanks. Yeah, we spent time as a Pega team, including our account team, leadership, and industry team, to really work together to put together some important research. And that a big part of that was really this pilot with the AI built prospecting spreadsheet. And that really is a great tool. But the great news is today that's not an Excel spreadsheet. That's actually something that's available in SA. So any AE like myself can go there to quickly get that information. And that can be available to you much sooner than it was for us. Really will make a huge difference for anyone using this program.
Having somebody be able to take a look at them and ensure that they're real and that they're, as important is important. And so I'm curious, Dan, when you got those assets, how did you react?
We had our executive leadership. Pega had its executive leadership attending. We had consulting. Pega had advisory. We had our solutions teams. We had our sellers. So what we did was we sort of deconstructed it and said, which of these 60 plus opportunities that Iris has identified are really the 5 or 10 that we want to start with. So that's kind of how we started. And we used everybody's brain power and then kind of a democratic process to agree that these were the ones we wanted to go after. The magic we're looking for here is in co-selling. So using our collective brain power to, coalesce on opportunities and then go and sell those opportunities together. That, as you have said earlier, Chad, has kind of morphed into, a regular cadence of, every week or so, how are we doing, right? Where do we need to course correct? What else have we missed? So I think it is the beginning rather than a one-time event. And that's something that we certainly want to replicate for more accounts.
So, Chad, I mean, the real important thing is whether or not this engagement builds any pipeline. Too often in the past, I used to describe these as Barney meetings where, we talk about how much we love each other, but nobody ever does anything. Did anything happen?
Now we've created new opportunities. I think a total, we probably are working on 7 different opportunities between these accounts. That really was a springboard to, I think, get us these opportunities faster and also to make those larger for the organizations.
As a seller, this is what I would do. Okay, I would take the tools that we have available in sales automation and try to leverage a white space workshop. I maybe find a partner that I was liking to work with in an org and identify the 5, 10, 15, 20 workflows, okay, that sales automation might generate that are good candidates for us to work together on. I would share with the partner in advance of my meeting with them to talk about those opportunities, what my org strategy was, along with that list of, target workflows that we think we should go after together. And and ask them, to look at it in advance, do some analysis, decide what they think about those opportunities, and honestly, whether or not they have any intellectual property or assets that they might be able to bring that could make our discussion about this organization even richer and better. We'd set up the meeting, and in it, I'd go through opportunity by opportunity with them and would identify, hey, these are the right ones for us to go after, and really dig deep to understand, okay, whether or not any of the personas that would care about that workflow, well, do we know them? Or are we in one degree of separation from knowing them? I'd leverage Iris to help work on our joint value proposition. I'd figure out how to use Iris to even maybe craft the first outbound email that we might send to be able to get that flywheel of prospecting going. But what I'd immediately do is try to work together with my partner to try to come up with the best joint value proposition I could for our prospective buyer and the best, messaging as well as the best outreach to be able to kick off, our prospecting campaign. So in the next 30 days, what I'd love to see is for all of you to engage in that set of activities. It's a workflow, and we will share with you what that workflow is in terms of what it is you should do from its different stages and steps. But I believe that if we can figure out how to dissect an organization by its composite workflows, and then figure out how to engage with our partners in a really meaningful co-selling activity, that we could truly launch our go-to-market. The key here is to get it. First meetings with new buyers for new workflows and new decisions. We know that when we do get those first meetings, our conversion rates are outstandingly high. So let's work together, get those first meetings, and engage in true co-selling.